An intercepted call revealed more about the U.S. strikes on Iran. This is a big week for Trump's big, beautiful bill. And stick around to hear a bad joke written by AI. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Monday, June 30th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. We're kicking things off this morning with a Post exclusive. An intercepted call captured Iranian officials downplaying the damage of U.S. strikes. Since President Donald Trump launched strikes on Iran this month, he has insisted that Iran's nuclear program was completely and totally obliterated. But new evidence reveals a more complicated picture. The U.S. intercepted a communication between senior Iranian officials. It was intended to be private. In the call, the officials were heard remarking that the U.S. attack was less devastating than they had expected. The Trump administration did not dispute the existence of the communication. But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt doubled down in a statement to the Post. She claimed Iran's nuclear weapons program is, quote, over. Regardless of the damage that was done, some critics of Trump's decision to bomb say that Iran may now be more inclined to build nuclear weapons. Senate Republicans are racing to pass Trump's massive tax and immigration bill this week. That's number 2. Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill would reshape much of the federal government and the U.S. economy. I'll give you some examples. The bill would introduce new tax breaks. It would allocate major spending on border security. It would cut social safety net programs. And it would pull back investments meant to fight climate change. Senate Republicans are hoping to vote on it today. And they're working to keep their members in line after coming close to a revolt over the weekend. Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina is one of the bill's Republican opponents. He harshly criticized the bill on the Senate floor yesterday.
So what do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid?
Tillis also said yesterday that he will not seek re-election next year. That announcement came after President Trump threatened to primary Tillis because of his opposition to the bill. But despite the lingering tension, Republican leaders are optimistic about getting the bill over the finish line as quickly as possible. If you're wondering what all this means for your life, we have a helpful story linked in our newsletter today. It's a full breakdown of what's in the bill. Find a link to that in our show notes. Number 3. President Trump said he will move aggressively to undo nationwide blocks on his agenda. On Friday, the Supreme Court ended its term by releasing a flurry of major decisions. One of them had big consequences for the Trump presidency. It limited the power of federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions on Trump's actions. Dozens of sweeping rulings have stalled or stopped the president's agenda since he returned to office. That includes orders to halt his proposed ban on birthright citizenship. Now, the administration plans to push back. President Trump laid out the plan at a White House news conference on Friday.
So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people.
Some legal experts have predicted that this ruling will allow Trump to expand his presidential power even further. But they say that Trump's move to ban birthright citizenship still faces an uphill legal battle. Number 4. Firefighters were ambushed while responding to a fire in Idaho. At around 1:20 p.m. local time yesterday, firefighters got a call about a vegetation fire on Canfield Mountain. That's a popular destination for hikers in northern Idaho. Then, around 2 p.m., the firefighters reported they were under attack by gunfire. The ambush lasted several hours before authorities found the body of the suspected attacker. At least 2 firefighters were killed in the attack. Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris updated reporters last night.
We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush and it was intentional.
The identities of the suspect and the victims are not yet public. A California school will shut down after Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan decided to stop funding it. That's our 5th story. Back in 2016, the Facebook founder and his wife opened a school for disadvantaged children in East Palo Alto. It offered free tuition as well as free healthcare and counseling for students and parents. The project was meant to show that giving kids the right support could lessen achievement gaps between wealthier and poorer students. But in April of this year, the school told staff it was closing its 2 locations. The billionaire couple's philanthropic organization had decided to stop funding it. As a result, around 400 children are losing their school. It comes as Zuckerberg and Chan have shifted their priorities away from projects touching on social and political issues. It's part of a wider pivot by Zuckerberg and his companies to adapt to the Trump era. Number 6. Artificial intelligence might be changing our brains, but it's not clear how. You may have seen viral headlines lately claiming that AI programs like ChatGPT are making the people that use them stupider and lazier. A recent study from MIT got a lot of attention. Researchers found that students using ChatGPT to write essays had lower brain engagement than those writing them the old-fashioned way. Other studies have linked frequent AI use to worse critical thinking abilities and memory. But this kind of research is pretty limited so far, and it's not all negative. Some experts argue that if it's used right, AI can enhance critical thinking and creativity. One AI consultant and comedian who spoke to the Post said that AI helps her write better jokes. I was intrigued by this, so I asked ChatGPT for a joke to close out this item. Here's what it came up with. So, people are using AI to write jokes now, which is great. Finally, a computer that understands my dad's sense of humor. Unfortunately, it also thinks it's the funny one in the family. That's it. Judge for yourself whether my brain could have come up with something better. And at number 7, lab-grown salmon is on sale for the first time in the U.S. A fancy Haitian restaurant in Portland, Oregon, recently had something unusual on its menu. It was cubes of salmon with pickled strawberries and spiced tomatoes. Sounds delicious, but there was a twist. The salmon came from cells grown in tanks at a former microbrewery in San Francisco. Last month, salmon from the company Wild Type became the first cell-cultured seafood to receive safety approval from the FDA. It takes about 2 weeks to create a 220-gram block of fish through this process. It takes a real live salmon at least 2 years to mature. So advocates say that lab-grown fish can help meet the world's growing demand for food with a healthy protein. And they say it also minimizes the negative environmental impacts of fishing and farming. Whether or not it's delicious, though, you'll have to try it and tell me. All right, you're all caught up. It's a great week to become a subscriber to The Washington Post. That's because it's our July 4th sale. That means you can get a year's core subscription for just $29, or just 50 cents a week. I'm willing to bet you can find that under your couch cushions right now. So go dig them out and put them to work. Head over to WashingtonPost.com/subscribe. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.